look at me like that, Carrie. I have to be honest with these people. Oh, the people are here. Hi, people. I am Marquise, and welcome to Conversations and Comments, where I talk about any and everything. This week, we are talking about the incomparable Kerry Washington, who's starring in Tyler Perry's brand new Netflix film, The 6888, is already out. Before I give my review, which is probably going to be scathing, it's going to be fair, but it may be a little bit scathing. I want you guys to like, share, comment, and most importantly, subscribe so that you can come and find me and what I'm talking about. I'm live each and every Friday night right here on YouTube. We discuss any and everything. This will be part of the live show as well. We talk about any and everything. There is no subject that is off limits. Check out the previous couple of lives that I put out. I had a great interview with a man whose best friend took his baby mama. It was a very enlightening show. But right now we are not talking about that. We are here to talk about Mr. Tyler Perry, Miss Kerry Washington, and Oprah Winfrey, who made a surprise appearance in this brand new Netflix film. I will be completely honest with you all. I went into this film completely blind. I did not even bother to watch the commercial. I knew that Kerry Washington was in it, and I love just about everything that she appears in. I know she's a stellar actress, and she doesn't particularly put her name on crap. So I thought I was going to be in safe hands. We'll get to that. For those of you who do not know, this film was actually based in reality. It's based around the Postal Directory Battalion of 1944, which comprised of 850 women who joined the war and actually went overseas to deliver over 17 million pieces of mail. It was a backlog of 3 years of mail between families and those fighting the war, and they were just unable to communicate, and they helped to clear that backlog of mail. So very, very important. It boosts the morale of those fighting the war and those families that were worried about their loved ones. That's basically the gist of this film. This is definitely a period piece, which Tyler Perry doesn't seem to do a whole lot of. The last one that I remember was a Jazz Man's Blues, and if you want me to be 100% honest, I do think that Jazz Man's Blues was more put together than this particular film. IMDb rated this a 6.5 out of 10, and Rotten Tomatoes gave it a score of 49%. Me? Yeah, I think I'm going to have to side with Rotten Tomatoes on this one. As mentioned, Oprah Winfrey does make a surprise appearance as the historic Mary McLeod Bethune. She's only in the film for about maybe 3 or 4 minutes, but it was just awesome to see that monumental figure, that's near and dear to all of our hearts in the film. And then, of course, Kerry Washington is the main draw for this film. To be honest with you, I don't really know any of those other characters. I think this one may have been in the Color Purple movie that I went and saw on Christmas last year. I don't remember. I mean, for the sake of this review, it's actually not that important. Kerry Washington stars as Major Charity Adams, and when I tell you, she brought the heat. She ignited the screen each and every time she appeared. I rooted for her. I simply loved her in the role that she played. She brought this person to life, and I just loved everything about her. The rest of these people were pretty much forgettable, in my opinion. And it's not because they didn't give decent performances. The script just was not well put together, which is pretty typical of Tyler Perry films. He seems to struggle with character development, with the exception of this character here, because I fell in love with her. She was well developed, well rounded. You saw the toughness that you expect to see of someone that's in charge of this many people, but you also saw the vulnerability at times as well. So this character was very well developed. Everybody else was pretty much cardboard, and anybody could have did that, my opinion. The story actually begins with the interracial love affair, which was totally unnecessary to the movement of this plot. The woman who ended up in the army, she's standing on the far right over here. it was totally unnecessary for her to have a man at all, especially a white one. It just was totally unnecessary. I was actually expecting, they built so much with the story between her and him that I actually thought that her mother, and who I presume to be the grandmother, had just written a fake letter that he, gone off to war. And, I thought that they faked the letter just to break them up, but none of that happened. The guy passed away maybe 20 minutes into the film, and all you see was a bunch of ghosts and how much she loved him and how he wanted her to move on with her life. It meant nothing to the movement of this plot. It was just totally unnecessary. Did not care anything about that YT man. I mean, not that I'm discriminatory at all. Love who you love, but it just, their love affair meant nothing to me in this film. Now, in Jazzman's Blues, their star-crossed interracial relationship was central to the movement of the plot. So in that regard, it made a lot of sense. But here, it just simply didn't make any sense. It was just unnecessary. It added nothing to what was going on. So she goes off to war, the one that was in love with the YT man. And basically, the story just evolves around their training and preparing for a war that the white men basically just did not want them to be a part of. At some point, they basically end up getting the orders to come overseas. They thought they were going to, show their stuff, but basically they got put on postal duty, which Carrie, the captain, we'll just call her the captain, Captain Charity Adams, she thought was quite insulting until she got there and realized that it was millions and millions of pieces of mail. You see a great way that they come up with ways to sort this mail. I mean, very, very clever ways. And all of that was great. But like I say, it was just very little going on in this film. It really was. If Kerry Washington didn't do what she did, I would have said just don't even bother. But because she was so compelling in her role, it actually lifted this film. You know what I mean? Other than that, it would have been just a no-go for me, and I would have not even recommended anybody watch it. But I loved Kerry Washington in this film. I love seeing Oprah. But like I say, everybody else was pretty much cardboard. I'm sorry. This is probably not the review that you expected. But I just don't have a whole lot to say. It's always character development with this guy. It's either a hit or a miss, and it was just a total miss for this ensemble piece. I didn't feel like he spent enough time with any of these characters outside of Kerry Washington. And I just, when you do that, I don't have any love or hate or anything to feel towards characters that I haven't gotten to know anything about for real. There are two of these people that are that actually end up passing away, and they blow up, and I didn't shed a tear. It was like, oh, okay. Sorry for your loss, but I didn't feel anything for them. I just, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't it. It just wasn't it. This film had lots of potential. I love that, we're showing our unsung heroes, especially black women who go unnoticed a lot of times. But unfortunately, this film just did not do its job. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, it's about as much as I can say. I would love to hear your comments on the matter. Please tell me if you will be watching it and what are your thoughts. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, that's what conversations and comments are about. Again, I will be live on Friday night where we will discuss this. It may be briefly because, like I said, I just don't have a whole lot to say about this thing. But until then, I'm your host, Marquise. I love you with the love of God, and I'll see you next time. Peace.